If you know anything about competitive Generation 1, Pokemon Red and Blue, you probably know that Psychic types are completely and utterly dominant. However, you might not fully understand why. And that's what we'll be exploring in this video. Hopefully, it will give you a deeper appreciation of RBY's intricacies and nuances. If you do like this video, make sure you leave a like, and subscribe if you want to see more, as I upload 3 to 4 discussion type videos a month, as well as competitive Pokemon every single day. Let's start with the fundamentals. In Generation 1, the Psychic type effectively has no weaknesses, as the few bug and ghost moves that exist are pathetically weak, and their stab users are brutally wiped out by Psychic anyway. The one exception is Jolteon occasionally using Pin Missile to hit Exeggutor, but that is because Exeggutor is the only Psychic type with both a resistance to Thunderbolt and a 4 times bug weakness. If one of those were not the case, Thunderbolt would be the superior choice, as it hits harder than a regularly super effective Pin Missile hitting 4 times, let alone the 2 or 3 it usually gets. Anyway, the point remains that you are pretty much never hitting Psychic type super effectively, or meaningfully super effectively rather, if you're doing less damage than you do with neutral moves. Psychics aren't just defensively excellent either, they're offensively terrifying because Dark and Steel don't exist. So what type remains that actually resists Psychics? Well, Psychic of course. Pair this with a high special stat and a strong stab Psychic that Psychic types possess, and pretty much everything that isn't Chansey or another Psychic type is taking significant heavy damage. This is amplified by the fact that Psychic has a whopping 1/3 chance to drop the opponent's special. To have this effect on your highly spammable stab move is absolutely wild. Special drops also have incredible interaction with paralysis, where they can make slower Pokemon faster. For example, if a paralyzed Slowbro faces a paralyzed Alakazam, and Slowbro's Psychic drops Alakazam's special, then Slowbro will be faster on the next turn. Speaking of the special stat, the fact that it's not split into special attack and special defense works in Psychic type's favors wonderfully. They get to hit hard while also withstanding opposing special attacks like the 90% accurate Blizzard in Gen 1 and Thunderbolt. The list of boons Psychic have going for them doesn't stop there either. They are incredibly well-rounded Pokemon, with phenomenal stat spreads besides just their special, and excellent move pools, littered with status, recovery, and coverage options that rank among the best in the game. This is why so much of nearly every single RBY game consists of Psychic types crashing into each other and or Chansey. Psychics are nearly impossible to switch into safely otherwise, even with something naturally bulky like Snorlax, Lapras, or the legendary birds. Now that we've gone through the abstract and theoretical, let's take a look at the best, most popular Psychic types in RBY to get more of a concrete image on how battles with them will turn out. Alakazam possesses the strongest Psychic in competitive RBY OU, and is the second fastest Pokemon in the tier. Thanks to RBY mechanics, its huge speed also blesses it with a massive critical hit rate of 23%. That's what my friends feel my critical hit rate is when I play them in competitive Pokemon. Meaning, its already strong Psychics hit ridiculously hard and quite often. When coupled with Psychic's nasty 30% special drop rate, Alakazam can often make even Chansey run away from a one-on-one, perfectly encapsulating the need for one's own Psychic types to withstand its Psychic type assault. Beyond just spamming its brutal stab Psychic, Alakazam also spreads Thunder Wave paralysis with absurd ease, has the consistent safe damage of Seismic Toss to chip away at opposing Psychic types like Exeggutor, hoping to resist it, and best of all, has Recover, which is absolutely incredible in Red, Blue, and Yellow thanks to its whopping 32 PP count, which if you didn't know is 16 more than Recover's current PP. Alakazam's neutrality to both Ice and Electric is also valuable in withstanding opposing special attacks. Exeggutor's got a Psychic that ranks not too far behind Alakazam's in power. It's not too fast, but it makes up for this with excellent physical bulk, as well as partial grass typing that provides it a valuable ground resist. These two traits combining to make it the most reliable ride-on check in the game. Exeggutor's got a solid attack stat too. This allows it to use one of the best moves in the game that no other Psychic type has access to. Well, besides Execute technically. Explosion. This lets Exeggutor rip through pretty much any Pokemon, since none of the few Pokemon that resist Boom, like Gengar and Rhydon, want anything to do with its powerful Psychic. Eggy also puts that attack stat to good use with Hyper Beam or Double Edge, which let it finish off Chansey and fellow Psychics from healthy ranges without having to resort to Explosion. Exeggutor doesn't even need to attack to shut something down. It's got access to another one of the best moves in the game, Sleep Powder. That's all 3 of Sleep, Explosion, and Stab Psychic on one Pokemon. Absolutely incredible. For that last slot, beyond Hyper Beam or Double Edge, Exeggutor can also spread Paralysis with Stun Spore, or even slot in Mega Drain for Starmie and Rhydon. giving it a plethora of excellent options for messing with the opposing team. Jynx isn't a psychic type that's all about direct power. It's about dishing out crippling status. An ideal Jynx is one that sleeps one opponent and then freezes another. From there, all it has to do is absorb some psychics and or status from the opponent, and it's fine. For this reason, it is one of RBY's most prominent leads, where it functions best as it's potentially capable of basically winning games almost immediately. Its Blizzard blasts past Alakazam, forcing it to switch out and have the opponent risk something else to freeze, and if Jynx's Psychic starts dropping the special, even the Starmie that resists both its stab moves will be forced out. Freeze isn't too high of a chance, of course, but it's higher than it seems at first since Jynx gets several opportunities, and of course, just getting to sleep is solid too, since afterward Jynx is effective as a sponge to other Psychics. Being able to withstand opposing blizzards is valuable as well, because if you didn't know, if you get frozen in RBY, you never thaw, unless your opponent hits you with a fire type attack that can burn, or they use haze. It's effectively a knockout. Slowbro is the only Psychic in OU that learns Amnesia, and you might be thinking, well that's trash. Well, thanks to RBY's mechanics, it's effectively 2 Calm Minds in the same turn. This, in conjunction with its huge defense stat, makes it nearly unbreakable after a boost, and one of the most terrifying late game sweepers. It can also compensate for its low speed with paralysis from Thunder Wave. Either of its stabs is a great sweeping choice. Psychic's drop rate is great for both weakening the opponent and for giving Slowbro the speed edge in matchups where both Psychic Pokemon are paralyzed, but Surf's extra PP and slightly higher base power are valuable as well. Slowbro's resistance to Blizzard is also highly useful. And while Amnesia Slowbro might sound broken, most of the time you are critting this Pokemon in order to beat it, especially with RBY's higher crit chances. But if you don't, you better watch out. Starmie is similar to Alakazam, but with several key advantages, the most notable of which is much higher physical bulk, which allows it to take on several of the biggest threats in the game, most notably Tauros. Starmie's ability to both outrun and take hits from the bull is entirely unique, and it's one of its best traits. In addition to Stab Psychic, Starmie also has a more expansive special move pool, which lets it strike more Pokemon for super effective damage, being able to fire off both Blizzards and Thunderbolt to great effect, as well of course also having the option of using its excellent Stab Surf. These super effective options are bolstered further by Starmie's superb critical hit rate of 22%. Not to mention, Starmie also has Thunder Wave and Recover as options too. We'll conclude this video on Psychic Domination with the following. In Generation 1, there are only 2 Uber or banned Pokemon, Mewtwo and Mew. Both are, what else? Psychic type. RBY's Mewtwo in particular is one of the most hilariously broken Pokemon of all time. It takes everything broken about Gen 1 Psychics and amps it up to 11. Much of what applies to RBY OU in this video also applies to RBY Ubers for this reason. Thanks so much for watching. We'll explore more similar topics in the future. Make sure you leave a like and also, like I said, subscribe. I have several other videos just like this in a playlist down below, and I upload competitive Pokemon every single day. Feel free to leave some topics down below that you'd love to see me discuss, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.